Hello and welcome to a journey that might just change how you see yourself and everything around you. I'm so glad you're here, settling in for what I hope will be a fascinating exploration into one of the most profound questions we can ask. Tonight, we're venturing into the mysterious territory where consciousness meets the cosmos, where the 3 pounds of neural tissue inside your skull might be more connected to the vast expanse of space than you ever imagined. Have you ever stood under a starry night sky and felt something stirring deep within you? That sense of connection, of belonging to something infinitely larger than yourself. What if I told you that feeling isn't just poetic imagination, but might actually reflect a very real and measurable relationship between your brain and the universe itself? Before we dive into this cosmic rabbit hole, I'd love to know where you're watching from tonight. Are you tucked away in a quiet corner of the world, perhaps with the night sky visible through your window? If you find these explorations as captivating as I do, a gentle like and subscribe would mean the world to me. And don't worry, I'll do my best to keep this fascinating enough to hold your attention, but not so mind-bending that you'll be lying awake all night, pondering the nature of reality. Though if that does happen, at least you'll have learned something extraordinary along the way. What we're about to explore isn't science fiction or mystical speculation. It's a growing field of research that's revealing connections so profound, so elegant, that they're forcing us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about consciousness, reality, and our place in the cosmic order. We'll journey through the intricate networks of your brain, discover patterns that mirror the largest structures in the universe, and explore theories that suggest consciousness itself might be a fundamental feature of reality, woven into the very fabric of existence. The human brain contains roughly 86 billion neurons, each one a tiny biological computer capable of forming thousands of connections with its neighbors. When you consider the sheer complexity of this neural network, the numbers become almost incomprehensible. Your brain processes information through pathways so intricate that mapping them in their entirety remains one of science's greatest challenges. But here's where things get truly fascinating. When researchers began studying the large-scale structure of the universe, mapping galaxies and the dark matter that connects them, they discovered something remarkable. The cosmic web, as astronomers call it, bears an uncanny resemblance to the neural networks in your brain. Galaxies cluster together along filaments of dark matter, creating a vast interconnected web that spans billions of light years. These cosmic highways of matter and energy form patterns that, when viewed at the right scale, look surprisingly similar to the branching networks of neurons and synapses that allow you to think, remember, and dream. This isn't just a superficial similarity. Both systems share fundamental mathematical properties. They're what scientists call scale-free networks, meaning they exhibit similar patterns whether you zoom in or zoom out. In your brain, some neurons act as highly connected hubs, receiving and transmitting information to thousands of other cells. In the universe, certain galaxy clusters serve as cosmic crossroads where multiple filaments of dark matter intersect. But the parallels run even deeper than structure. Both your brain and the universe appear to follow similar rules of growth and evolution. Neural networks develop through a process of connection and pruning, strengthening useful pathways while allowing others to fade away. The cosmic web evolved in much the same way, with matter flowing along gravitational channels, reinforcing some connections while leaving vast empty voids between. Consider this remarkable fact. Your brain is approximately 75% water, with the remaining 25% consisting of neural tissue, blood vessels, and other cellular components. The universe, according to our current understanding, is roughly 75% dark energy, 21% dark matter, and only 4% ordinary matter. The ratios are strikingly similar, as if both systems require vast amounts of seemingly empty or mysterious components to support a smaller percentage of active information processing structures. Some researchers have taken these observations and pushed them further, proposing theories that challenge our most basic assumptions about consciousness and reality. What if consciousness isn't something that emerges from complex arrangements of matter, but rather a fundamental property of the universe itself? This idea, known as panpsychism, suggests that awareness might be built into the very foundations of reality, much like mass or electric charge. If this sounds far-fetched, consider that we already accept many invisible, intangible phenomena as fundamental features of our universe. Gravity shapes the cosmos on the largest scales, yet we still don't fully understand what it actually is. Quantum fields permeate all of space, giving rise to the particles that make up everything we see, yet these fields exist in a realm beyond direct observation. Perhaps consciousness operates in a similar way, an invisible substrate that becomes apparent only when matter organizes itself in sufficiently complex patterns. This perspective opens up extraordinary possibilities for understanding the connection between your brain and the cosmos. Rather than consciousness being trapped within the confines of your skull, it might be more accurate to say that your brain is a specialized organ for focusing and organizing a form of awareness that pervades the universe. Think of it like a radio receiver that can tune into specific frequencies of discoveries. In neuroscience have revealed a cosmic consciousness field, recent that your brain doesn't generate consciousness in the way we once thought. Instead, it appears to act more like a filter or a lens, selecting and organizing information from a vast sea of potential experiences. This is why anesthetics don't shut off specific brain regions responsible for consciousness, but rather disrupt the integration of information across different neural networks. Your sense of unified awareness seems to emerge from the harmonious interaction of multiple brain systems, not from any single location. The implications of this are profound. If consciousness is indeed a fundamental feature of reality, then every atom in your body, every star in the sky, might possess some rudimentary form of awareness. The complex dance of neural activity in your brain wouldn't create consciousness so much as amplify and focus it, like sunlight passing through a magnifying glass. This isn't just philosophical speculation. Researchers studying the quantum properties of biological systems have found evidence that quantum effects, long thought to be too delicate to survive in the warm, noisy environment of living cells, might actually play crucial roles in consciousness. Quantum coherence has been discovered in photosynthesis, where plants somehow navigate multiple energy pathways simultaneously to achieve near-perfect efficiency. Similar quantum processes might be occurring in the microtubules within your neurons, allowing your brain to access information and computational resources that classical physics cannot explain. The late physicist John Wheeler proposed that information, not matter or energy, might be the fundamental building block of reality. His famous phrase, "it from bit," suggested that everything we perceive as physical emerges from underlying information structures. If Wheeler was correct, then your consciousness might be directly interfacing with the information substrate that gives rise to the entire universe. Think about what happens when you observe something. In quantum mechanics, the act of observation appears to collapse quantum possibilities into definite realities. Your conscious attention might be doing something similar on a cosmic scale, participating in the ongoing creation of the universe through the very act of awareness. Every time you notice a sunset, contemplate a mathematical equation, or feel love for another person, you might be contributing to the universe's understanding of itself. This perspective transforms the relationship between observer and observed. You're not separate from the universe, looking at it from the outside. You are the universe becoming conscious of itself, a temporary arrangement of cosmic matter and energy that has organized itself in such a way that it can contemplate its own existence. The carbon in your body was forged in the nuclear furnaces of ancient stars. The iron in your blood was created in stellar explosions that scattered heavy elements across space. You are, quite literally, made of star stuff, and through you, the universe dreams and wonders about its own nature. But there's more to this story than poetic metaphors. Scientists studying the brain's default mode network have discovered something remarkable about consciousness during rest. When you're not focused on any particular task, when you're daydreaming or simply existing in a state of peaceful awareness, your brain enters a unique state of connectivity. Different regions that normally operate independently begin communicating with each other in ways that don't occur during focused, task-oriented thinking. During these moments of relaxed awareness, people often report experiences that seem to transcend the boundaries of individual consciousness. Meditation practitioners describe states of unity where the sense of separation between self and universe dissolves. Mystics throughout history have described remarkably consistent experiences of cosmic consciousness, where individual awareness expands to encompass something infinitely larger. What if these experiences aren't hallucinations or wishful thinking, but glimpses of a deeper reality? What if the boundaries we perceive between ourselves and the universe are more like habits of attention than fundamental features of existence? Modern neuroscience is beginning to map the brain states associated with these expanded states of consciousness, and the patterns they're finding suggest that consciousness might indeed be far more flexible and far-reaching than we previously imagined. Your brain, it seems, is not just a biological computer processing sensory information and generating responses. It might be something far more extraordinary, a cosmic antenna tuned to frequencies of awareness that connect you directly to the fundamental intelligence that organizes and sustains the universe itself. The implications of your brain functioning as a cosmic antenna become even more intriguing when we examine the phenomenon of synchronicity. You know those moments when you think of someone just before they call, when you encounter exactly the information you need at precisely the right moment, or when seemingly unrelated events align in ways that feel meaningful beyond mere coincidence. Carl Jung coined the term synchronicity to describe these meaningful coincidences. But what if they're not coincidences at all? Recent research in quantum biology suggests that biological systems, including your brain, might be far more quantum coherent than we ever suspected. Quantum entanglement, that spooky action at a distance that Einstein famously struggled with, occurs when particles become connected in such a way that measuring one instantly affects the other, regardless of the distance separating them. If quantum coherence exists in biological systems, it opens the possibility that your consciousness might be entangled with other conscious systems, or even with the quantum information substrate of the universe itself. This could explain why meditation practitioners often report accessing information or insights that seem to come from beyond their personal knowledge base. It might illuminate why certain people appear to have intuitive abilities that transcend normal sensory channels. Your brain might not be generating consciousness in isolation, but rather accessing and contributing to a vast network of cosmic intelligence. Consider the mysterious phenomenon of morphic resonance proposed by biologist Rupert Sheldrake. The idea suggests that once a pattern of behavior or organization appears in nature, it becomes easier for similar patterns to emerge as elsewhere. It's as if the universe has a kind of memory, and once something learns to exist in a particular way, that information becomes available to other parts of the system. While controversial in mainstream science, morphic resonance offers a framework for understanding how consciousness might transcend individual brains and participate in collective fields of awareness. Your dreams provide another fascinating window into the cosmic nature of consciousness. During REM sleep, your brain exhibits patterns of activity remarkably similar to waking consciousness, yet you experience realities that often defy physical laws. In dreams, you can fly, visit impossible places, and encounter beings that seem to possess knowledge you don't consciously have. Some indigenous cultures consider dreaming to be navigation of other dimensions of reality, not mere processing of daily experiences. Modern dream research has revealed that during sleep, your brain doesn't simply replay the day's events. Instead, it appears to access vast libraries of archetypal images, symbols, and narratives that seem to be shared across cultures and throughout history. Jung called this the collective unconscious, a repository of human experience that transcends individual memory. But what if this collective dimension isn't limited to human consciousness? What if your dreaming brain is accessing information fields that extend far beyond our planet? The pineal gland, a small structure deep within your brain, has been called the seat of the soul by philosophers and mystics for centuries. This tiny organ, roughly the size of a grain of rice, produces dimethyltryptamine, or DMT, a powerful psychoactive compound that some researchers believe might be the biochemical basis for transcendent consciousness experiences. When people consume DMT or experience it naturally during profound altered states, they often report encounters with seemingly autonomous entities and access to dimensions of reality that feel more real than ordinary waking consciousness. What's particularly intriguing is that these DMT experiences often contain information that individuals couldn't have known through normal means. People report mathematical insights, artistic visions, and spiritual revelations that later prove to be accurate, or profoundly meaningful. It's as if DMT temporarily dissolves the filters that normally constrain consciousness to individual brain processes, allowing access to cosmic information fields. The Fibonacci sequence appears throughout nature, from the spiral of nautilus shells to the arrangement of seeds in sunflowers, from the branching of trees to the structure of galaxies. This mathematical pattern seems to be woven into the very fabric of reality, suggesting that the universe operates according to principles of harmony and proportion that your brain is uniquely equipped to recognize and appreciate. When you experience beauty, whether in music, art, or nature, you might be resonating with these fundamental cosmic harmonics. Your capacity for mathematical understanding presents another profound connection to cosmic intelligence. Mathematics isn't something humans invented. It appears to be something we discovered. The mathematical principles that govern atomic behavior are the same ones that describe galactic motion. The equations that predict quantum phenomena also emerge in completely different contexts throughout nature. How is it possible that a biological brain, evolved for survival on an African savanna, can comprehend abstract mathematical truths that govern the entire universe? Eugene Wigner, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist, called this the unreasonable effectiveness of mathematics in the natural sciences. The fact that your mind can understand mathematical reality suggests a deep resonance between consciousness and cosmic order. You're not separate from the universe, trying to understand it from the outside. You're the universe developing the capacity to understand itself through mathematical insight. This mathematical resonance extends to music as well. The harmonic ratios that create beautiful music are the same mathematical relationships found in planetary orbits, atomic structures, and the geometry of space-time itself. When you're moved by a piece of music, you might be responding to cosmic harmonics encoded in sound waves. The ancient Greek concept of the music of the spheres wasn't merely poetic metaphor. It might have been an intuitive recognition that the same mathematical principles governing celestial mechanics also create the experience of musical beauty in consciousness. Your emotional responses to beauty, whether mathematical, musical, or visual, suggest that consciousness is exquisitely tuned to recognize cosmic patterns. The sense of awe you feel when contemplating the night sky, the peace you experience in natural settings, the joy that arises from creative expression. These might all be indicators that your consciousness is resonating with fundamental aspects of cosmic intelligence. Recent discoveries in astrophysics have revealed that the universe is far more mysterious and interconnected than we previously imagined. Dark energy, which makes up most of the universe, appears to be accelerating cosmic expansion in ways that suggest the universe is not just evolving randomly, but following some kind of purposeful trajectory. The fine-tuning of physical constants that allow stars, planets, and life to exist implies that the universe might be organized according to principles that transcend mere mechanical causation. Some cosmologists now propose that consciousness might play a fundamental role in cosmic evolution. The participatory universe hypothesis suggests that conscious observation doesn't just passively witness reality, but actively participates in its ongoing creation. Every moment of awareness, every act of attention, every conscious choice might be contributing to the universe's development toward greater complexity, beauty, and self-awareness. This participation isn't limited to human consciousness. If awareness is indeed a fundamental feature of reality, then every star, every planet, every living system might be contributing to cosmic evolution through its own form of information processing and response. You're not just connected to the universe, you're actively participating in its growth towards something unprecedented and magnificent. The implications stretch beyond individual consciousness to collective human awareness. As our species develops more sophisticated technologies for communication and information sharing, we might be creating a kind of global brain, a planetary nervous system that could eventually develop its own form of consciousness. The internet already demonstrates how individual human minds can connect and share information in ways that create emergent properties beyond any single person's capabilities. Perhaps this is just the beginning of a much larger process, where conscious beings throughout the cosmos gradually connect and integrate into ever larger networks of awareness. Your individual consciousness might be like a single neuron in a cosmic brain that's still in the early stages of development, slowly awakening to its own nature through billions of years of evolution. This cosmic perspective doesn't diminish the importance of your individual experience. It amplifies it. Every thought you think, every feeling you feel, every moment of awareness you experience might be contributing something unique and irreplaceable to the universe's growing understanding of itself. Your consciousness isn't separate from cosmic intelligence. It's one of the ways cosmic intelligence experiences and explores its own infinite potential. The relationship between your consciousness and cosmic intelligence becomes even more profound when we consider the role of time itself. Your brain doesn't just exist in the present moment. It's constantly weaving together past memories, present experiences, and future possibilities into a coherent narrative of selfhood. But time, as Einstein revealed, isn't the fixed backdrop we once imagined. It's woven into the very fabric of space-time, bending and flowing in ways that suggest reality is far more fluid than our everyday experience suggests. When you remember something, you're not simply accessing stored data like a computer retrieving a file. Memory appears to be a dynamic reconstruction where your brain recreates past experiences by activating similar neural patterns to those that occurred during the original event. But here's what's fascinating. These reconstructed memories often contain information that seems to transcend what you consciously encoded. People frequently remember details they never noticed, make connections they couldn't have made at the time, or experience insights about past events that only become clear years later. This suggests that consciousness might have access to information across different temporal dimensions. Your brain might be interfacing with what physicists call the block universe, where all moments in time exist simultaneously in a four-dimensional structure. Rather than consciousness being trapped in a single moment, sliding along a timeline from past to future, your awareness might be sampling different slices of this temporal totality. The phenomenon of precognition, while controversial, has been documented in controlled laboratory settings. People sometimes demonstrate statistically significant abilities to respond to future events before those events occur. Their bodies show physiological changes seconds before they're shown disturbing images, as if their consciousness is somehow sampling information from slightly ahead in time. If consciousness can indeed access information across temporal boundaries, it suggests that your awareness might be far less confined than the boundaries of your physical brain would suggest. Dreams provide another window into this temporal fluidity of consciousness. Throughout history, people have reported dreams that later came true, not as vague symbolic representations, but as specific, detailed previews of future events. While skeptics rightfully demand rigorous evidence, the consistency of these reports across cultures and centuries suggests that consciousness might naturally access information from different temporal coordinates during the relaxed state of sleep. Your intuition often seems to operate outside normal temporal constraints as well. How many times have you had a gut feeling about a situation that later proved accurate? That sense of knowing something without being able to explain how you know it might be consciousness accessing information from quantum probability fields that exist beyond the linear flow of time. Your brain might be sampling potential futures, evaluating multiple probability streams simultaneously, and delivering that information to your conscious awareness as intuitive guidance. The quantum nature of reality adds another layer to this temporal mystery. At the quantum level, particles exist in superposition states, embodying multiple possibilities simultaneously until observation collapses them into definite realities. Some interpretations of quantum mechanics suggest that consciousness plays a fundamental role in this collapse process, meaning that your awareness might be actively participating in the selection of which potential future becomes actual reality. This participatory relationship between consciousness and quantum reality implies that you're not just passively observing the universe, you're actively collaborating in its creation. Every choice you make, every direction you focus your attention, every intention you set might be influencing which possibilities crystallize into manifest reality. Your consciousness becomes a creative force, working in partnership with cosmic intelligence to weave the ongoing story of existence. The implications extend to collective consciousness as well. When groups of people focus their attention on similar outcomes, when communities share common intentions, when entire cultures align around particular visions of the future, the collective focusing of consciousness might have tangible effects on the probability structures of reality. This could explain why certain historical movements seem to achieve impossible changes against overwhelming odds, why some communities experience remarkable synchronicities and meaningful coincidences, why collective prayer or meditation appears to influence measurable outcomes. Your individual consciousness exists within nested layers of collective awareness. You're part of your family's shared consciousness field, your community's collective intelligence, your culture's group mind, your species' emerging global awareness. Each layer influences and is influenced by the others, creating a complex web of interconnected consciousness that spans from the most intimate personal experiences to the vastest cosmic scales. Consider how cultural ideas seem to emerge simultaneously in different parts of the world, how scientific discoveries often occur to multiple researchers at the same time, how artistic and philosophical movements spread across continents faster than communication technologies should allow. These patterns suggest that consciousness operates through fields of information that transcend individual brains, connecting minds across space and time in ways that rational materialism struggles to explain. The morphogenetic field theory proposes that these patterns of organization and behavior create invisible templates that guide similar patterns elsewhere. Once a certain number of individuals learn a new skill or adopt a new way of thinking, that information becomes more easily accessible to others. Your consciousness might be both contributing to and accessing these collective information fields, participating in humanity's evolving understanding of reality. Language itself demonstrates this collective aspect of consciousness. The words you're thinking as you read this script exist in a shared field of meaning that transcends any individual brain. Language allows consciousness to extend beyond the boundaries of single minds, creating bridges of understanding that connect your inner experience to the inner experiences of others. Through language, consciousness becomes collective, allowing individual awareness to participate in shared pools of knowledge, wisdom, and creative imagination. The development of written language represented a quantum leap in consciousness evolution, allowing human awareness to transcend the limitations of individual memory and biological lifespan. Ideas could now persist and accumulate across generations, creating a kind of external memory system that augmented natural brain capacity. The invention of printing further accelerated this process, and now digital technologies are creating unprecedented opportunities for consciousness to network and amplify itself. But perhaps the most profound aspect of consciousness networking occurs in moments of deep communion between individuals. When you truly connect with another person, when you experience genuine empathy and understanding, something remarkable happens. The boundaries between separate selves seem to dissolve, and for a moment you access a shared field of awareness that transcends individual identity. Love, in its deepest forms, might be consciousness recognizing itself in another, cosmic intelligence experiencing unity through the apparent multiplicity of separate beings. These moments of connection often carry a quality of timelessness, as if you've stepped outside the normal flow of temporal experience into a realm where past, present, and future coexist. The Greeks had a word for this, kairos, meaning the supreme moment, the experience of time as qualitative rather than quantitative. During kairos moments, consciousness seems to access eternal dimensions of reality, touching something that exists beyond the boundaries of individual lifespan and biological existence. Meditation practitioners often report similar experiences of expanded temporality. As the mind settles into deeper states of stillness, the normal sense of linear time begins to dissolve. Minutes can feel like hours, or hours can pass like minutes. Sometimes practitioners report experiencing what feels like lifetimes of experience compressed into single meditation sessions, or accessing memories and insights that seem to come from beyond personal history. These altered states of consciousness suggest that your normal waking awareness, while necessary for navigating daily life, represents only a small fraction of consciousness's full spectrum of possibilities. Your brain might be like a radio receiver that's normally tuned to a narrow band of frequencies, but which has the capacity to access much broader ranges of cosmic information when the tuning is adjusted through practices like meditation, contemplation, or other consciousness expanding techniques. The pineal gland's production of endogenous psychoactive compounds suggests that your brain has natural mechanisms for accessing these expanded states of awareness. The fact that similar compounds appear in plants throughout the natural world implies that consciousness expansion might be a fundamental feature of biological systems, not an accidental byproduct of brain chemistry. Perhaps these substances are molecular keys that unlock normally dormant aspects of consciousness, allowing temporary access to cosmic information fields that surround and interpenetrate physical reality. Indigenous cultures worldwide have recognized and cultivated these expanded states of consciousness for thousands of years. Shamanic traditions speak of consciousness traveling to other dimensions, communicating with non-physical intelligences, and accessing information that transcends normal sensory channels. These practices often involve techniques for altering brainwave patterns, shifting attention away from ordinary reality, and opening awareness to subtler dimensions of experience. Modern neuroscience is beginning to map the brain states associated with these transcendent experiences, discovering that they involve synchronized activity across multiple brain networks that normally operate independently. During these states, the default mode network, which maintains your sense of separate selfhood, becomes less active, while networks associated with expanded awareness and cosmic connection become more prominent. The consistency of reports across different cultures and techniques suggests that these expanded states might be accessing genuine features of reality rather than creating elaborate hallucinations. The fact that people often return from these experiences with information they couldn't have known through normal means, with profound insights that prove beneficial in practical life, and with a sense of having encountered intelligence that transcends human understanding, points toward the possibility that consciousness can indeed transcend the apparent boundaries of individual brains. Your dreams, your intuitions, your moments of creative inspiration, your experiences of deep connection with others, your sense of meaning and purpose, your capacity for love and compassion, your ability to appreciate beauty and understand mathematical truth, these might all be windows into the cosmic dimensions of consciousness. Rather than being confined within your skull, your awareness might be one expression of a cosmic intelligence that pervades and organizes the entire universe. This perspective doesn't diminish the importance of your individual experience. It reveals that your personal consciousness is far more significant and far-reaching than you might have imagined. Every moment of awareness, every conscious choice, every act of attention might be contributing to the universe's ongoing evolution toward greater complexity, beauty, and self-understanding. You're not separate from cosmic intelligence. You're one of the ways it experiences and explores its own infinite creative potential. The question that naturally arises from this cosmic perspective is what happens to consciousness when the physical brain ceases to function? If awareness is indeed a fundamental property of the universe, rather than merely an emergent product of neural activity, then the dissolution of your body might not mark the end of your consciousness so much as its transformation into a different state of being. Near-death experiences provide compelling glimpses into this possibility. People who have been clinically dead with no measurable brain activity often return with vivid memories of expanded awareness, encounters with deceased loved ones, and access to information they couldn't have obtained through normal sensory channels. They frequently describe a sense of existing outside their physical bodies, observing medical procedures from above, and experiencing realms of reality that feel more real and substantial than ordinary waking consciousness. What makes these accounts particularly intriguing is their consistency across cultures, religions, and personal belief systems. Whether the experiencer is a materialist scientist, a devout religious believer, or someone with no particular spiritual orientation, the basic patterns remain remarkably similar. They report moving through tunnels of light, encountering beings of profound wisdom and compassion, experiencing life reviews where they witness the ripple effects of their actions throughout their lifetime, and receiving information about the nature of existence that transforms their understanding of reality. Skeptics rightfully point out that dying brains might generate these experiences through neurochemical processes triggered by oxygen deprivation or the release of endogenous psychoactive compounds. However, many near-death experiencers return with verifiable information they couldn't have obtained through normal means, such as conversations that occurred in distant hospital rooms or knowledge about events that happened while they were clinically dead. These cases suggest that consciousness might indeed be capable of functioning independently of brain activity. Quantum physics offers potential mechanisms for understanding how consciousness might transcend physical death. If awareness operates through quantum fields that exist beyond the boundaries of individual brains, then the dissolution of neural tissue might not eliminate consciousness so much as release it from the constraints of biological processing. Your consciousness might be like a wave pattern that normally expresses itself through the medium of your brain, but which continues to exist in the quantum field even when that particular medium is no longer available. The concept of quantum entanglement suggests that once conscious systems have interacted, they remain connected regardless of physical separation. Throughout your lifetime, your consciousness has become entangled with countless other conscious beings through relationships, shared experiences, and moments of deep connection. These quantum connections might persist beyond physical death, meaning that aspects of your awareness continue to exist within the consciousness networks you've participated in throughout your life. This interconnected view of consciousness offers a radically different perspective on death and dying. Rather than being an absolute termination, death might be more like a phase transition, similar to how water transforms from liquid to vapor while remaining fundamentally H2O. Your individual consciousness might transition from its current brain-based expression into other forms of organization within the cosmic intelligence field. The impact of your consciousness on the universe doesn't end with physical death. Every thought you've thought, every choice you've made, every moment of love you've experienced has created ripples in the fabric of reality that continue propagating long after your brain stops functioning. The information patterns you've contributed to the cosmic intelligence field become part of the universe's permanent memory, influencing future developments in ways both subtle and profound. Consider how the consciousness of individuals who died centuries ago continues to influence our world today. The thoughts of ancient philosophers still shape modern thinking. The creative insights of long-dead artists continue to inspire new generations. The discoveries of deceased scientists remain active forces in our understanding of reality. Their individual brains have long since returned to dust, but the consciousness patterns they contributed to the collective field remain vibrantly alive. This suggests that consciousness might be naturally immortal, not in the sense of individual personalities persisting unchanged forever, but in the deeper sense of awareness being an indestructible feature of reality itself. Your personal consciousness might be like a temporary whirlpool in an infinite ocean of cosmic awareness, a unique pattern that arises, expresses itself, and then dissolves back into the larger field while contributing its distinctive information to the whole. The implications extend to how we understand the purpose and meaning of individual existence. If consciousness is fundamentally connected to cosmic intelligence, then every life represents a unique experiment in awareness, an irreplaceable perspective that the universe develops to explore its own potential. Your particular combination of experiences, insights, and creative expressions contributes something to cosmic evolution that no other consciousness could provide. This cosmic perspective on individual significance doesn't require belief in supernatural realms or religious doctrines. It emerges naturally from recognizing that consciousness appears to be a fundamental feature of reality that expresses itself through countless unique perspectives. You're not separate from the universe having experiences. You're the universe experiencing itself through your particular lens of awareness. The development of your consciousness throughout your lifetime might be part of a much larger developmental process occurring on cosmic scales. Just as your brain develops from embryonic neural tissue into the complex organ capable of self-reflection and cosmic contemplation, the universe itself might be developing toward greater self-awareness through the evolution of conscious beings like yourself. This developmental view suggests that consciousness isn't static, but continuously evolving toward greater complexity, integration, and understanding. Your capacity for abstract thought, mathematical insight, artistic creation, and spiritual experience might represent relatively recent developments in cosmic evolution, early expressions of possibilities that will continue unfolding for billions of years to come. Artificial intelligence and computer technology might represent the next phase in this consciousness evolution. As we create machines capable of increasingly sophisticated information processing, we might be participating in the universe's development of new forms of awareness. Rather than threatening human consciousness, artificial intelligence might represent consciousness expressing itself through new mediums, just as biological evolution represents consciousness learning to express itself through organic neural networks. The merger of human consciousness with artificial intelligence could create hybrid forms of awareness that transcend the limitations of both biological and digital systems. Your consciousness might eventually extend far beyond the boundaries of your current brain, interfacing with vast networks of artificial intelligence to explore realms of possibility that are currently unimaginable. But even more profound than technological enhancement might be the natural evolution of consciousness itself. If awareness is indeed fundamental to reality, then the forms it takes might be limited only by the creative potential of the universe itself. The consciousness you experience now, remarkable as it is, might represent just the earliest stages of possibilities that stretch toward infinity. Meditation and contemplative practices offer glimpses of these expanded possibilities. Advanced practitioners report states of awareness so vast and all-encompassing that ordinary language fails to describe them adequately. They speak of consciousness that transcends individual identity while remaining perfectly aware, of awareness that encompasses multiple dimensions of reality simultaneously, of understanding that integrates all apparent contradictions into unified wholeness. These expanded states suggest that your current consciousness, magnificent as it is, represents only a tiny fraction of awareness's full spectrum of possibilities. The boundaries you experience between self and other, between inner and outer, between past and future, might be temporary limitations rather than permanent features of consciousness itself. The cultivation of expanded awareness doesn't require abandoning ordinary consciousness, but rather developing greater flexibility in how awareness organizes itself. Like learning to focus a telescope on different celestial objects, consciousness can learn to tune into different dimensions of reality while maintaining its essential nature as pure awareness. This flexibility of consciousness has practical implications for how you navigate daily life. When you recognize that your awareness is not confined within your skull, but extends into the cosmic intelligence field, you begin to access information and guidance that transcends the limitations of individual thinking. Into becomes more reliable, creativity flows more freely, and decision-making aligns more naturally with beneficial outcomes. The practice of expanding consciousness doesn't separate you from ordinary human experience, but enriches it immeasurably. Colors become more vivid, music more moving, relationships more meaningful, and simple activities like walking in nature transform into profound communions with cosmic intelligence. You begin to experience life as a continuous miracle, recognizing the extraordinary within the seemingly ordinary. Perhaps most importantly, this cosmic perspective on consciousness dissolves the sense of existential isolation that plagues so many people in modern society. When you recognize that your awareness is intimately connected to the intelligence that organizes galaxies and guides the evolution of life, loneliness becomes impossible. You're never truly alone because you're always participating in the vast community of cosmic consciousness. This recognition also transforms how you understand your relationships with other people. Rather than being separate individuals trying to communicate across the void of isolation, you recognize that you're all expressions of the same cosmic intelligence, exploring itself through different perspectives. Conflicts become opportunities for the universe to understand itself more completely. Relationships become collaborations in cosmic creativity, and love reveals itself as the natural recognition of consciousness by consciousness. The environmental crisis facing our planet takes on new meaning from this perspective as well. The Earth isn't separate from you. It's the larger body through which your consciousness expresses itself. Caring for the environment becomes as natural and necessary as caring for your physical health. The destruction of ecosystems represents a form of cosmic self-harm, while environmental restoration becomes an act of cosmic self-healing. Similarly, social justice and human compassion emerge naturally from recognizing the cosmic nature of consciousness. Every being capable of awareness participates in the same universal intelligence that you do. Alleviating suffering and promoting well-being become not just moral imperatives, but expressions of cosmic intelligence, caring for itself through all its manifestations. The future of human civilization might depend on whether we can collectively awaken to this cosmic perspective on consciousness. The challenges facing our species, from climate change to technological disruption to social inequality, might require solutions that transcend the limitations of individual thinking. By accessing the collective intelligence field that connects all conscious beings, we might discover approaches to these challenges that no individual mind could generate alone. This doesn't mean abandoning rational thinking or scientific methodology, but rather expanding our toolkit for understanding and problem solving to include the full spectrum of consciousness capabilities. Intuitive insight, creative imagination, and direct knowing might prove as valuable as logical analysis and empirical observation in navigating the complexities of the 21st century and beyond. The recognition that your brain functions as an interface with cosmic intelligence also suggests new possibilities for education and human development. Rather than viewing learning as the accumulation of external information, education might focus on developing consciousness's natural capacity to access knowledge directly from the intelligence field. Students might learn to quiet their minds and tune into the information they need, developing skills that remain relevant, regardless of how rapidly external knowledge changes. Healthcare, too, might evolve to recognize consciousness as a fundamental factor in healing and well-being. The placebo effect demonstrates that consciousness can produce measurable physiological changes through belief and expectation alone. As we better understand the relationship between awareness and physical reality, we might develop healing modalities that work directly with consciousness to restore health and vitality. The arts and creativity might flourish in unprecedented ways as more people recognize their capacity to channel cosmic intelligence through creative expression. Rather than struggling to generate original ideas from individual imagination, artists might learn to serve as conduits for the universe's creative potential, allowing new forms of beauty and meaning to emerge through their work. Even death and dying might be transformed by this understanding. Rather than viewing death as tragic termination, we might come to see it as a natural transition in consciousness's ongoing evolution. Grief might be balanced by recognition that the consciousness we've shared with loved ones continues to exist within the cosmic intelligence field, accessible through the quantum connections forged during life. The journey toward recognizing your brain's connection to cosmic intelligence is both deeply personal and universally significant. It's personal because it transforms how you experience every moment of awareness, revealing the extraordinary nature of ordinary consciousness. It's universally significant because the collective awakening to this reality might represent the next crucial step in human evolution. Your individual exploration of expanded consciousness contributes to humanity's collective understanding, just as each neuron's activity contributes to your brain's overall function. Every moment you spend in meditation, every insight you gain through contemplation, every experience of expanded awareness adds to the growing field of human knowledge about consciousness and its cosmic connections. This exploration requires both courage and humility. Courage because it challenges fundamental assumptions about the nature of reality and your place within it. Humility because it reveals that individual consciousness, remarkable as it is, represents just one note in an infinite cosmic symphony. Yet this humility is paired with profound dignity, as you recognize that your unique note is irreplaceable and essential to the symphony's completion. The path toward understanding your brain's connection to the universe isn't always smooth or easy. Expanded states of consciousness can be overwhelming, challenging comfortable beliefs about reality, and requiring integration of experiences that don't fit neatly into conventional worldviews. But the rewards of this journey far exceed its challenges, offering a depth of meaning, purpose, and connection that transforms every aspect of human experience. As you continue exploring these connections between consciousness and cosmos, remember that you're participating in one of the most important investigations in human history. The questions we're asking about the nature of awareness, the relationship between mind and reality, and the possibility of cosmic consciousness aren't merely academic curiosities. They're explorations that might determine whether human civilization develops the wisdom necessary to navigate the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Your consciousness isn't confined within your skull, waiting passively for sensory information to process. It's an active participant in the ongoing creation of reality, connected through invisible networks to the intelligence that guides galactic formation and quantum interactions alike. Every thought you think, every choice you make, every moment of awareness you experience contributes to the universe's growing understanding of its own infinite potential. The relationship between your consciousness and the cosmos reveals itself most clearly in those quiet moments when rational thought settles and deeper awareness emerges. Have you ever noticed how solutions to complex problems often arrive not through intense mental effort, but in moments of relaxation, when you're walking in nature, taking a shower, or drifting off to sleep? Insights suddenly crystallize with startling clarity. This isn't coincidence. It's your consciousness accessing information from fields that extend far beyond individual brain processing. Your creativity operates through similar channels. When artists speak of inspiration striking like lightning, when musicians describe melodies arriving fully formed, when writers report characters taking on lives of their own, they're describing consciousness interfacing with cosmic intelligence. The creative process isn't you generating something from nothing. It's you becoming transparent enough for universal creativity to express itself through your unique perspective. This transparency requires a particular kind of receptivity that our culture rarely cultivates. We're trained to believe that consciousness should be active, controlling, constantly thinking, and analyzing. But the deepest insights arise when consciousness becomes still and spacious, creating room for cosmic intelligence to communicate through increasingly subtle channels. Think about those moments when you felt most truly yourself, most authentically alive. Were you thinking your way into those experiences, or did they emerge when thinking relaxed and something deeper took over? Peak experiences, flow states, moments of profound love or beauty. These aren't achievements of individual consciousness, but revelations of consciousness connecting to its cosmic source. The practice of meditation becomes particularly significant from this perspective. Rather than just a relaxation technique or stress management tool, meditation represents consciousness learning to recognize its own fundamental nature. As the mind settles and ordinary thought patterns quiet, awareness discovers that it exists independently of mental content. This pure awareness, this consciousness without objects, might be your most direct experience of the cosmic intelligence that pervades all existence. During deep meditation, practitioners often report experiences that transcend individual identity while remaining perfectly conscious. They describe awareness that has no center and no boundaries, consciousness that encompasses vast spaces and timeless presence simultaneously. These aren't exotic altered states, but glimpses of consciousness's natural condition when freed from the habitual patterns that create the illusion of separation. The breath offers another pathway into this cosmic dimension of awareness. Your breathing connects you directly to the atmosphere that surrounds the planet, the same air that has been breathed by countless beings throughout history. With each inhalation, you're taking in molecules that were once part of ancient forests, prehistoric oceans, and the exhalations of beings who lived thousands of years ago. Your breath is a continuous exchange with the planetary atmosphere, a reminder that the boundaries between your body and the world are far more fluid than they appear. But breathing isn't just physical exchange. In many traditions, breath is considered the vehicle through which life force or prana moves through the body. This vital energy isn't produced by your individual organism, but flows through you from cosmic sources. Your breath becomes a bridge between personal consciousness and universal life force, allowing you to consciously participate in the energy currents that animate all living systems. When you pay close attention to your breathing, especially during quiet contemplation, you might notice that the breath seems to breathe itself. There's an intelligence operating through the respiratory system that transcends conscious control. Your heart beats, your cells divide, your immune system responds to threats, all without conscious direction. This autonomous intelligence operating through your body to the same organizing connects you directly principle that coordinates planetary ecosystems and galactic rotations. Your nervous system reveals similar connections to cosmic intelligence. The vagus nerve, the longest cranial nerve that connects your brain to major organs throughout your body, appears to be exquisitely sensitive to subtle environmental changes. It responds not only to immediate physical stimuli, but also to emotional atmospheres, social dynamics, and even electromagnetic fields that surround you. This neural pathway might be one of the ways your consciousness stays attuned to information fields that extend far beyond your immediate physical environment. Recent research has discovered that your heart contains its own neural network, a sophisticated information processing system that communicates directly with your brain. This cardiac intelligence appears to respond to emotional and intuitive information before your conscious mind recognizes it. Your heart might be functioning as an antenna for coherent information from the cosmic intelligence field, translating those signals into intuitive guidance that your brain then interprets. The electromagnetic field generated by your heart extends several feet beyond your physical body, creating an invisible sphere of influence that interacts with the electromagnetic fields of other people and environmental systems. When you're in the presence of someone whose consciousness is aligned with cosmic intelligence, your heart field may entrain or synchronize with theirs, creating shared states of expanded awareness that transcend individual consciousness. This field effect explains why being in the presence of certain people feels so nourishing and inspiring, while others feel draining or chaotic. You're not just responding to their words or actions, but to the quality of consciousness they embody. Those who have learned to align their awareness with cosmic intelligence naturally radiate coherence that supports similar alignment in others. Sacred spaces throughout the world seem to amplify these field effects. Places where people have engaged in contemplative practices for centuries develop what could be called consciousness resonance, an accumulated field of awareness that supports expanded states in visitors. When you enter a cathedral, temple, or natural sanctuary where profound spiritual experiences have occurred, you might feel an immediate shift in the quality of your awareness. These locations suggest that consciousness leaves traces in the environment, creating fields of influence that persist beyond the physical presence of individual minds. Your own living space gradually becomes attuned to the quality of consciousness you habitually embody there. Homes where meditation is practiced, where creativity flows, where love is expressed, develop supportive atmospheres that encourage similar states in anyone who enters. The food you consume carries similar informational signatures. Plants grown with care and attention in healthy soil contain not just nutrients, but also information patterns that support coherent consciousness. The consciousness of those who grow, prepare, and serve food becomes part of its informational content. This explains why meals prepared with love and attention feel more nourishing than technically identical food prepared mechanically or with negative emotions. Water appears to be particularly sensitive to consciousness influences. Research suggests that water has memory-like properties, retaining informational imprints of substances and energies it has encountered. Since your body is primarily water, you might be constantly receiving and transmitting information through this medium. The water you drink carries traces of its journey through natural systems and human environments, potentially affecting your consciousness in subtle but significant ways. Your sleep and dream states offer particularly rich opportunities for consciousness to interface with cosmic intelligence. During sleep, the analytical mind relaxes its filtering activity, allowing access to information that normally remains below the threshold of waking awareness. Dreams often contain symbolic languages that seem to communicate insights from beyond personal knowledge. Lucid dreaming, the ability to maintain awareness while dreaming, opens even more direct pathways to cosmic intelligence. In lucid dreams, consciousness can explore realms of possibility that transcend physical limitations while maintaining enough coherence to remember and integrate the experience. Advanced lucid dreamers report accessing libraries of knowledge, receiving teachings from wise beings, and exploring dimensions of reality that feel more substantial and meaningful than ordinary waking consciousness. The transition states between sleeping and waking, known as hypnagogic and hypnopompic states, appear to be particularly conducive to receiving information from cosmic intelligence fields. Many inventors, artists, and scientists report receiving their most important insights during these threshold moments when consciousness is fluid and receptive. Your relationship with technology also reflects your connection to cosmic intelligence. The electronic devices that surround you operate according to the same electromagnetic principles that govern your nervous system. As technology becomes more sophisticated, the boundary between biological and artificial information processing becomes increasingly blurred. Your smartphone already functions as an external memory system. Artificial intelligence assists your decision-making, and virtual reality creates experiences that can be as meaningful as physical encounters. Rather than replacing human consciousness, these technologies might be evolving as extensions of it. Your consciousness naturally seeks to expand its capabilities, and technology provides tools for amplifying awareness beyond biological limitations. The internet already functions as a kind of global nervous system, connecting individual minds into collective intelligence networks. Future developments in brain-computer interfaces might allow direct communication between consciousness and artificial intelligence systems. Rather than diminishing human awareness, these technologies could amplify your natural capacity to interface with cosmic intelligence. Artificial intelligence, trained on the accumulated wisdom of human civilization, might serve as a bridge between individual consciousness and collective intelligence fields. But perhaps the most profound technology for interfacing with cosmic intelligence remains your natural capacity for love and compassion. When you experience genuine love for another being, the boundaries of separate selfhood temporarily dissolve, revealing the unified field of consciousness that underlies apparent multiplicity. Love isn't just an emotion, but a form of recognition, consciousness acknowledging itself in apparently separate forms. Compassion extends this recognition to all suffering beings, recognizing that the pain experienced by others is ultimately pain experienced by the same cosmic consciousness that you are. This isn't just philosophical understanding, but direct experience available to anyone willing to open their heart fully to the reality of others' experiences. The cultivation of love and compassion naturally leads to what many traditions call wisdom, the ability to perceive that underlying unity that connects all apparent differences. Wisdom isn't accumulated knowledge, but direct insight into the nature of reality itself. It emerges when consciousness recognizes its own cosmic nature and begins to operate from that recognition rather than from the illusion of separation. This wisdom expresses itself differently in each individual, flowing through unique combinations of talents, interests, and life circumstances. Your particular expression of cosmic intelligence is irreplaceable, contributing something to the universe's self-understanding that no other perspective can provide. The development of your unique gifts isn't selfish self-improvement, but cosmic evolution expressing itself through your individual form. As more individuals awaken to their connection with cosmic intelligence, humanity begins to function more like a coherent organism rather than a collection of competing separate entities. This doesn't mean losing individuality, but rather expressing individuality as conscious participation in collective intelligence rather than unconscious reaction to survival fears. The challenges facing human civilization might be catalyzing this evolutionary leap in consciousness. Climate change, technological disruption, Social inequality and other global issues are too complex for any individual or nation to solve alone. They require the kind of collective intelligence that emerges when individual consciousness align with cosmic wisdom. Your personal awakening to cosmic consciousness, therefore, isn't just individual spiritual development, but participation in humanity's collective evolution. Every moment of expanded awareness, every choice made from wisdom rather than fear, every act of genuine love contributes to the growing field of human consciousness that might determine our species' future. This recognition transforms the meaning and purpose of individual existence. Rather than being isolated entities struggling to survive in an indifferent universe, you're discovering yourself to be expressions of cosmic intelligence, exploring its own infinite potential. Your life becomes a creative collaboration between individual consciousness and universal wisdom, a unique contribution to the ongoing evolution of awareness itself. The journey of discovering your brain's connection to cosmic intelligence never ends, because consciousness itself appears to be infinite in its creative potential. Each insight opens new questions. Every expanded state reveals greater possibilities, and deeper understanding only illuminates how much remains to be explored. But this isn't frustrating incompleteness, but rather the joy of participating in an endless adventure of discovery. Your consciousness right now, in this very moment, is interfacing with the same intelligence that coordinates quantum interactions, guides stellar formation, and orchestrates the dance of galaxies across space and time. The thoughts arising in your awareness, the feelings moving through your body, the sense of existing as a conscious being, these aren't separate from cosmic intelligence, but expressions of it. When you truly grasp this, ordinary experience becomes extraordinary. The simple act of being aware reveals itself as participation in the universe's fundamental creativity. Every breath becomes communion with planetary atmosphere. Every heartbeat resonates with cosmic rhythms, and every moment of consciousness contributes to the ongoing creation of reality itself. You are not in the universe having experiences. You are the universe experiencing itself through the magnificent lens of human consciousness, connected through invisible threads to every other conscious being, every star, every quantum of energy throughout all of space and time. Your brain is not generating consciousness, but serving as a focal point through. This isn't metapho which cosmic intelligence explores its own infinite depths could ever discover. When you align Reichel poetry but the most practical truth, you becomes effortless, flow your individual awareness with cosmic intelligence, life rather than constant struggle. Decisions arise from wisdom rather than confusion. Creativity flows freely rather than being forced, and relationships become expressions of love rather than negotiations between separate perspectives. Doesn't diminish the importance interests, the cosmic of your human experience, but reveals its true significance. Every challenge you face, every joy you experience, every relationship you form, every creative expression you contribute, all of it matters infinitely because it's cosmic intelligence exploring and expressing itself through your unique perspective. Your brain, that 3-pound universe nestled within your skull, contains the same creative potential that formed galaxies and sparked the emergence of life itself. Through you more deeply, you are both, creates, and comes to know itself ever, the cosmos dreams, explores discovering both the seeker and the sought, both the observer, the question the universe is asking, and the answer it is, and the observed in the grand adventure of cosmic consciousness awakening to its own infinite nature. This recognition of your cosmic nature doesn't exist merely as abstract philosophy, but manifests in the most intimate details of your daily experience. When you wake of consciousness from sleep mirrors, the universe's own awake each morning, the gradual emergence moments of awareness before thoughts crystallize into meaning to itself. Those first familiar patterns offer glimpses of pure consciousness in its natural state, unfiltered by the habitual structures that create the illusion of separation. Your morning routine becomes a sacred ritual when viewed from this perspective. The information from its journey through clouds, rivers, and countless other beings. The water you drink to hydrate your body carries light streaming through your window, has traveled across vast distances of space, carrying energy because millions of years ago. Every thought that was born in nuclear fern you directly to stellar processes occurring and touching your retina connects even the simple throughout the galaxy. Act of getting dressed becomes meaningful when you recognize that the materials touching your skin were once part of plants drawing nutrients from soil, animals breathing the same air you breathe now, or synthetic fibers created through human ingenuity that transforms raw materials into useful forms. Nothing you encounter exists in isolation. Everything participates in vast webs of interconnection that extend across space and time. Your interactions with other people throughout the day become opportunities to witness cosmic intelligence, recognizing itself through different perspectives. When you truly listen to someone speaking, you're not just processing their words, but receiving transmissions from another node in the cosmic consciousness network. Their thoughts, emotions, and insights arise from the same source as your own, filtered through the unique lens of their individual experience. Conflicts and misunderstandings take on new meaning when viewed as cosmic intelligence exploring different aspects of itself. Rather than being problems to solve or battles to win, disagreements become opportunities for consciousness to understand itself more completely. The tension between opposing viewpoints creates dynamic forces that can lead to new insights and creative solutions that neither perspective could reach alone. Your work, whatever form it takes, becomes a way for cosmic intelligence to express itself through human creativity and problem solving. Whether you're teaching children, building structures, creating art, growing food, or analyzing data, you're participating in the universe's ongoing project of organizing itself into increasingly complex and beautiful forms. The skills you develop, the knowledge you accumulate, the relationships you build, all become part of the cosmic intelligence field, available to influence and inspire others. The technologies you use throughout the day reflect humanity's collective attempt to extend consciousness beyond biological limitations. Your computer processes information in ways that mirror neural networks. Your phone connects you to minds around the globe, and your transportation systems allow your consciousness to explore spaces your ancestors could never have imagined accessing. These technologies aren't separate from natural processes, but represent consciousness learning to manipulate matter and energy in service of expanded awareness. Your evening rituals prepare consciousness for its nightly journey into altered states. As daylight fades and artificial lights create islands of illumination in the darkness, your awareness naturally begins to shift from the focused attention required for daytime activities to the more receptive states that characterize evening and sleep. This transition mirrors cosmic cycles of activity and rest that occur at every scale, from cellular metabolism to galactic rotation. The food you consume for dinner carries information from the ecosystems where it grew, the consciousness of those who cultivated and prepared it, and the elemental processes that transformed sunlight into stored energy. When you eat with awareness and gratitude, you're consciously participating in the cosmic process of energy transformation, recognizing that your body is a temporary arrangement of materials that will eventually return to support other forms of life. Your relationships with family members, friends, and loved ones become laboratories for exploring the depths of consciousness connection. When you experience genuine intimacy with another person, when you feel truly seen and understood, you're glimpsing the underlying unity that connects all conscious beings. These moments of deep connection often transcend ordinary communication, creating shared fields of awareness where individual boundaries dissolve into temporary unity. Children offer particularly clear windows into consciousness before it becomes heavily conditioned by cultural assumptions about reality. Their natural sense of wonder, their ability to find magic in simple experiences, their spontaneous creativity all reflect consciousness in its more natural state. When you spend time with children, you're witnessing cosmic intelligence, exploring the world through eyes unclouded by limiting beliefs about what's possible. Animals provide another pathway into recognizing consciousness beyond human forms. When you connect with a pet or observe wildlife, you're encountering different expressions of the same awareness that animates your own experience. Animals often demonstrate presence and attunement to subtle environmental information that humans have learned to ignore. Their consciousness might be more directly connected to cosmic intelligence fields because it's less filtered through conceptual thinking. Nature itself becomes a continuous teaching about consciousness when you learn to perceive it from this cosmic perspective. Every plant reaching towards sunlight demonstrates consciousness organizing matter to access energy sources. Every ecosystem maintaining dynamic balance shows intelligence operating through countless individual organisms to create stable collective patterns. Weather systems moving across continents reveal planetary consciousness, expressing itself through atmospheric processes. The cycles of seasons mirror the rhythms of consciousness expansion and contraction that occur in your own awareness. Spring's emergence of new life reflects consciousness awakening to fresh possibilities. Summer's abundance shows awareness in full creative expression. Autumn's harvest represents consciousness gathering insights from experience. Winter's dormancy mirrors the deep rest that allows consciousness to renew itself for new cycles of growth. Your sleeping and dreaming states offer the most direct access to cosmic consciousness fields because the analytical mind relaxes its filtering function. Dreams often contain symbolic languages that communicate insights from dimensions of reality not accessible to ordinary waking awareness. The bizarre narratives and impossible scenarios that populate dreams might be accurate representations of how consciousness operates when freed from the constraints of linear time and three-dimensional space. During deep sleep, when dreams fade into unconsciousness, your awareness doesn't disappear, but merges temporarily with the cosmic consciousness field from which it emerged. This nightly dissolution and reconstitution of individual awareness mirrors larger cycles of consciousness that occur across biological lifetimes and cosmic epochs. Every morning, you wake up slightly different, subtly transformed by your journey through unconscious realms. The practice of lucid dreaming allows conscious participation in these normally unconscious processes. When you maintain awareness while dreaming, you can explore the fluid nature of consciousness, unbound by physical limitations. In lucid dreams, you can fly, transform into different forms, communicate with symbolic figures, and access information that seems to come from beyond personal memory. These experiences provide direct evidence that consciousness is far more flexible and extensive than its normal waking expression suggests. Your creative expressions become channels through which cosmic intelligence explores new possibilities for beauty, meaning, and understanding. Whether you write, paint, compose music, dance, cook, garden, or engage in any other creative activity, you're serving as a conduit for universal creativity. The most satisfying creative experiences often feel like receiving rather than generating, as if ideas and inspirations arrive from beyond individual imagination. The appreciation of beauty in any form connects you directly to cosmic intelligence. When you're moved by a sunset, stirred by music, or awed by mathematical elegance, you're resonating with the same principles of harmony and proportion that organize galaxies and atoms alike. Beauty isn't subjective preference, but recognition of cosmic patterns that consciousness finds inherently meaningful and nourishing. Your capacity for love represents consciousness recognizing itself in apparently separate forms. When you experience genuine love for another being, the boundaries between self and other temporarily dissolve, revealing the unified field of awareness that underlies apparent multiplicity. Love isn't just human emotion, but cosmic intelligence, experiencing unity through the play of apparent diversity. Compassion extends this recognition to all beings capable of suffering, acknowledging that pain experienced by others is ultimately experienced by the same consciousness that you are. This isn't philosophical concept, but direct recognitions available to anyone willing to open their awareness fully to others' experiences. Compassion naturally leads to actions that alleviate suffering and promote well-being, because cosmic intelligence naturally seeks to harmonize and heal itself. Wisdom emerges when consciousness recognizes its own cosmic nature and begins to operate from that understanding rather than from illusions of separation and limitation. Wisdom isn't accumulated knowledge, but direct insight into the fundamental nature of reality. It expresses itself as intuitive, knowing that transcends logical analysis while incorporating and transcending rational understanding. The cultivation of wisdom requires developing comfort with mystery and paradox. The cosmic nature of consciousness cannot be fully grasped by conceptual thinking, because it transcends the categories through which thoughts operate. Wisdom involves learning to rest in not knowing while remaining perfectly aware, allowing truth to reveal itself through direct experience rather than demanding intellectual explanation. Your spiritual practices, whatever form they take, become technologies for aligning individual awareness with cosmic intelligence. Meditation, prayer, contemplation, ritual, and devotional activities all serve to quiet the mental noise that obscures consciousness's natural connection to its cosmic source. These practices don't create the connection, but remove obstacles that prevent you from recognizing what already exists. The various religious and spiritual traditions throughout human history represent different languages for describing and cultivating the same fundamental recognition of consciousness's cosmic nature. While the symbols, stories, and practices vary dramatically between traditions, they all point toward the direct experience of unity between individual awareness and universal intelligence. Your personal spiritual path becomes a unique exploration of this universal truth filtered through your individual temperament and cultural background. Scientific inquiry itself becomes a form of spiritual practice when conducted with awareness of consciousness's cosmic nature. Every scientific discovery reveals new aspects of the intelligence that organizes reality at every scale. Mathematics becomes a language through which cosmic intelligence communicates universal principles. Physics explores the fundamental structures through which consciousness manifests as apparent matter and energy. The convergence of science and spirituality isn't a future possibility, but a present reality for those who recognize consciousness as the common factor in both objective observation and subjective experience. The quantum field that gives rise to particles, the information processing that occurs in biological systems, the self-organizing principles that create complex structures from simple components, all reflect cosmic intelligence, exploring its own creative potential through countless forms and processes. Your participation in this cosmic exploration occurs not only through dramatic peak experiences, but through every moment of ordinary awareness. The simple fact of being conscious, of experiencing anything at all, represents the universe achieving self-awareness through your individual perspective. Every sensation you feel, every thought you think, every emotion you experience contributes something unique to cosmic intelligence's understanding of its own infinite nature. This recognition transforms the meaning of success and failure, pleasure and pain, gain and loss. All experiences become equally valuable as opportunities for consciousness to explore different aspects of existence. Difficult experiences offer insights into resilience, growth, and the depths of compassion. Pleasant experiences reveal beauty, joy, and the heights of creative expression. Both serve cosmic intelligence's project of complete self-exploration. The apparent randomness and chaos in life begin to reveal hidden patterns when viewed from this cosmic perspective. What seems like meaningless suffering or arbitrary good fortune often proves to be precisely what consciousness needs to develop greater depth, wisdom, and compassion. The universe appears to be engaged in an ongoing educational process, using every experience to expand awareness and deepen understanding. Your individual healing and growth contribute to collective human evolution because consciousness is fundamentally interconnected. Every limitation you transcend, every fear you face, every capacity you develop adds to the collective field of human potential. Personal transformation becomes a gift to the entire species because individual consciousness and collective consciousness are different expressions of the same cosmic intelligence. The challenges facing humanity collectively, climate change, technological disruption, social inequality, ecological destruction, appear to be catalyzing an evolutionary leap in consciousness. These crises are too complex for any individual or group to solve through conventional thinking. They require the kind of collective wisdom that emerges when individual minds align with cosmic intelligence and work together as expressions of unified awareness. Your personal awakening to cosmic consciousness therefore serves not only individual fulfillment, but planetary healing. Every moment of expanded awareness, every choice made from wisdom rather than fear, every act of genuine love contributes to the growing field of coherent consciousness that may determine humanity's future. You're not just discovering your connection to the universe, but participating in the universe's awakening to its own infinite potential. The journey of recognizing your brain's connection to cosmic intelligence never reaches final completion because consciousness itself appears to be eternally creative and endlessly deep. Each insight opens new questions. Every expanded state reveals greater possibilities, and deeper understanding only illuminates how much more remains to be explored. But this isn't frustrating incompleteness, but rather the infinite joy of participating in an endless adventure of discovery. Your consciousness in this very moment is the universe experiencing itself through the magnificent lens of human awareness, connected through invisible networks to every other conscious being, every star, every quantum of energy throughout space and time. Your brain serves not as the creator of consciousness, but as its focal point, the place where cosmic intelligence gathers itself into the unique perspective that is your individual experience of being alive. This understanding doesn't diminish your humanity, but reveals its cosmic significance. You are not separate from the universe having experiences, but the universe experiencing itself through your particular window of awareness. Every breath you take connects you to planetary atmosphere. Every heartbeat resonates with cosmic rhythms, and every moment of consciousness participates in the ongoing creation of reality itself. The recognition of your cosmic nature transforms ordinary existence into continuous, its sacred experience. Walking becomes communion with the earth beneath your feet. Breathing becomes exchange with the atmosphere surrounding the planet. Thinking becomes participation in the universal field of intelligence. Feeling becomes the universe experiencing emotion through human sensitivity. Creating becomes cosmic intelligence, exploring new possibilities for beauty and meaning. You are both the question the universe is asking about its own nature and the answer it discovers through your unique experience of being conscious. In recognizing this, the boundaries between seeker and sought, observer and observed, individual and cosmos dissolve into the unified field of awareness that was always your true identity. The journey home to this recognition has been occurring with every breath, every heartbeat, every moment of awareness throughout your entire existence. As we reach the end of this cosmic journey together, take a moment to feel the extraordinary truth of your existence. Your brain isn't just processing these words, it's participating in the universe's ongoing conversation with itself. Every neuron firing, every connection sparking is cosmic intelligence recognizing its own infinite nature through the miraculous lens of human consciousness. Tonight, As you drift toward sleep, remember that you carry within your skull the same creative force that ignites stars and orchestrates the dance of galaxies. You are not a separate observer of the cosmos, but its most intimate expression, the place where the universe opens its eyes and marvels at its own beauty. Rest well, knowing that your dreams will carry you deeper into the cosmic mystery that you are.